Scotty went away when we started dancing. I see how it is. What up, everybody? Welcome to our Bad Batch pre-show, pre-show, really, because everybody's got a show going tonight.
Yo.
So I'm here with Sheev the Wise is down there, and Hawks is running around somewhere doing something, but that's okay. He'll jump in just a second. But here we're going to talk about some Bad Batch. We're going to get started into the night. It's going to be a fun night. I think this episode is going to be more filler or more killer than filler. Everybody was saying that was, last couple of episodes have kind of been filler. So I think it's going to be a good one.
Heck yeah, man. I think it is too. And I mean, the title of the episode is Tribe. And I mean, I don't know if you want to dive right into it, but I think it's going to be all about the Wookiees.
Oh, okay. I'm with it. So you think we're going back to Kashyyyk?
Kashyyyk.
You think we're going back to Kashyyyk? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to Kashyyyk, and this is probably the Gunji episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. What's up? Hey, you made it. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna switch this around. That way
I wanted to come in fashionably late today, so nothing fell off.
You came in hot last week or yesterday.
Yeah.
So she was saying that he thinks that we're gonna jump right into the Wookiees this week with the tribe name of the episode.
You think we're going there to liberate? Are we talking about like the big event? Like, I mean, not to take anything away from that planet, but
it's such a tough question, to be honest, because there is an unfinished Clone Wars arc with the Bad Batch going to Kashyyyk, and I'm curious how much of that they're going to carry over and bring in. Because I mean,
preach. Let's hear it. I want to hear about it.
Well, so a lot of it is at the time it was separatists versus the Republic still, so it wasn't obviously in this time period. But I think they could easily change the separatists to be the Empire and kind of do a similar story. I do believe in that rendition that they did, or they showed everybody at Celebration a couple years back, that basically the Wookiees had these creatures or like spirit animals that they used, like actual like big old behemoth dudes, to basically fight the separatists. And it's something that like is force connected with them or whatever the case is. So having Gunji potentially involved with that as well would be friggin' mind-blowing to me. So I'm hoping we see something like that. I just don't know how they're going to tell the whole Kashyyyk story in one episode, if that's going to be the case, because I do think next week's is like a two-part mid-season finale. So I'm wondering how they're going to be able to, how much they're going to be able to show in this 30-minute episode.
Well, and that's an interesting, the fact that our Wookiee Jedi is there, number one. Like, where else would he have gone, right? If he was to get out, you go home, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, that's where I would have gone. I mean, that's not where I would go because, I know that's where they go looking first. But, to a young child, what do? You get in a ship and you head home, right? And you let the elders, if they're still alive, try to figure it out, right? It's ironic that his saber is not with him, right? So whether it makes me feel like maybe he was in a crash and he was thrown from his saber, and maybe the occupying party grabbed his saber, and that's why he doesn't have it with him. That's why he's surprised when he sees it, because when he ignites it, he's surprised. It's almost like excitement, like, oh, I got my arm back, right? Like, it's like I got my right hand back. Because that's what it feels like, I'm sure. So yeah, it's definitely got to be something involving a crash or him getting taken, getting overwhelmed, and they don't want to kill him because there's more of a bounty if they're alive for the Empire. Something like that has to happen, because that it couldn't be any other way. I can't see him being disarmed by a random one squad patrol even as a youngling.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that, to be honest, because watching the trailer, I guess I didn't put together that he maybe didn't have his saber. Like, I know he uses the force to grab it and everything. I thought maybe when you're saying that, maybe he just gets captured with the Bad Batch or something, or the Bad Batch is there to rescue him and he kind of forces the lightsaber over to him.
In some way, I'm sure that the Jedi are a value alive more than dead to the Empire at this point, right? If you didn't get got during Order 66, they want you alive because they want to know who let you out, who helped you, how'd you get out. Like they want to fill all of those gaps in their security, right? So and they, you know, they want to be able to experiment. They need Palps needs blood. He's like, give me that Force blood. Let's see who's got what, right? Like, let's put the cards on the table. So he wants these younglings and these Jedi alive for the most part. He wanted all of the big, the major council members and the masters executed, no doubt. But he knows that there's straggling younglings. He knows there's straggling Padawans out there that he wants, whether to recruit or to dissect.
Yeah.
Judge me by my size, do you?
Right. So
I'm saying we don't know how old Gunji really is. Like how long he's been training. They live longer.
That is true.
In Wookiee terms, yeah, that's a great point. I mean,
I want to go even deeper down that rabbit hole because the Bad Batch now seem to be potentially quest of the week, some ancient knowledge kind of stuff here. Potentially.
Okay.
The Wookiees been around for a long time, bro. Like, is there a chance that there's some kind of ancient something we pick up from there?
Well, I mean, if
I really want him to try to like keep hinting at like the pirate side of stuff with that chick.
If Chewbacca is what 200 years old,
I'm saying, man,
150. I mean, how old did they say? How old did Poe when he was kicking their ass at chess? How old was did they say he was? They're like, oh, you're 250 years old. Of course, you're supposed to beat our ass, right? Like that's a thing. But
right, so he was around before Anakin.
Oh yeah, 150 years before Anakin, potentially.
Right. So in Solo, Chewbacca is confirmed to be 190 years old in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Okay, so fast forward 40 years, and you get him at about 250 years old, right? In the sequels, right? So we know their lifespan is long. We don't know how long, much like the Yoda species, the Grogu species, because they've never given us a name for the species, right? So we don't know. But here's, I mean, I've always put my chips on R2 saved Grogu. That's where I'm all in on that. I'm a ride or die on that because I just the scene in Mando had me convinced. When R2 loses his shit, R2 loves seeing old friends. And to be like, holy shit, you made it out. I made it out too. You made it out. Oh, high five. Right? Like that's what that scene felt like to me. Right? It didn't feel like oh, I don't know who you are. It was like yo, you made it. Holy crap, you made it. Right? So for me to see our Wookiee friend potentially getting out of the temple, or could this short episode also put us on Coruscant? Do they rescue him from the temple? And that's why he doesn't have his saber, because he was imprisoned, and they went to rescue him when they found out there was a Jedi being transported.
Yeah, right now my biggest question is how the Bad Batch is going to get involved with Kashyyyk in the first place. Like, is it going to be a Sid mission? Is Rex going to call him or something? Although I don't know exactly why Rex would want, go to Kashyyyk, but it's kind of fascinating to me, like how they're going to get pulled into this. And, I just can't wait to see it, man. Seeing Kashyyyk again in animation, really for, I think, the first time, because somebody confirmed to me earlier that the Kashyyyk episodes in Clone Wars actually happen in the Kashyyyk system, but they happen on a moon of Kashyyyk. So it's not really on Kashyyyk, as far as I understand.
Whoa.
So this will actually be, I think, the first time we see Kashyyyk in animation other than the unfinished episodes. And it's exciting,
other than Fallen Order and such, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Yoda and the Wookiees were like pretty tight, right? If this is Baby Yoda.
Well, that's interesting.
I'm just saying.
Well, and the Wookiees and Yoda had a special relationship.
I'm saying,
right? Like they knew that
their age alone, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They are able to have conversations over 2 or 3 generations of humanoids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't even know how old Tarful is, right? Chewbacca is the leader of the Wookiees during this time. We don't even know how old he is, but he is there If I'm not mistaken, correct me, but he's there during Fallen Order, isn't he?
He is. He's like kind of the leader of the Wookiee rebellion, I believe,
And
and I'm pretty good relations with the Wookiees I
good
have.
relations
I'm
with
just
the-
saying.
right? I mean, yeah, come on.
But I do think I don't know if we see him in the trailer exactly, but I do think he's in the unfinished Clone Wars arc. So I think Tarful is definitely going to be in tonight's episode.
But my point being is that Tarful is older than Chewbacca. He's gray. He's an old Wookiee. He could be 300, 400 years old. You know, if Chewie is only in the back half of his life, let's call it midlife,
He's midlife.
right? Then his dad's double his age, right? And so that makes him 300 years old. So why wouldn't Yoda have these relations with the Wookiees?
Yeah.
Right? Because they're one of the only other species that we've known so far that lived that long.
Yep.
Right? I mean, between father and son, that could be the entire life of Yoda. So for me, it would make sense. It would make sense for those two to have those kind of relationships, you know. But
I just want it all to connect, damn it.
well, it is. I mean, it is. That's why
Mhm.
that's why they're making all this stuff, you know.
I want it
Yeah.
all though. Movies, TV, video games.
dude,
I don't want
think
them to
think
have
about
to
what
announce
this
it like
season-
James Gunn.
Think about what this season's already done, though. I mean, they raided Count Dooku's place. That's a huge thing
Mhm.
from Clone Wars that we've really barely seen.
Yep.
I mean, we got to see some cool stuff that we think is related to the Zepho and Jedi Fallen Order.
Right.
Now we're getting potentially the Wookiees. It is kind of
Mhm.
all connected, and I love the way that they're doing it.
Well, I mean, look,
know.
it's definitely on target for what the stories that they're trying to finish.
Definitely.
They got some room, and they're filling in some story gaps, right? Like with Ahsoka and these other shows, they're building anew. They're paying tribute to old, but they're building anew, right? But these shows are finishing out stories, right? Tales of the Jedi, the animation is filling in the gaps, right? And that's what I've been saying. It's really leveling everything because there's all this time that spanned and all these questions. Like, okay, well, who did the recordings? We know who erased those files in the Jedi archives for Kamino. We know that. But to actually see it happen and how it happens is this fucking cherry, dude. It's freaking cherry. It's awesome. It's the extra layer they didn't have to do, but they did it. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the part that I enjoy the most about this. And you know, this is where you tell those stories is in animation, because not every story has to be in live action.
Yeah, and I hope that when we start to get to like that really juicy stuff, that people start to come back around to like choices Disney's made. Not all of them, maybe not all of them, but at least start to bring people back into like the conversation. The people that don't even want to talk about the sequels anymore at all, like can you come back a little bit over here, like.
Well, and here's an interesting
Things like having the Zepho potentially being in the show are huge for me.
Here's
it
a
means
crazy-
that they'll do anything, literally.
what most people would call a stupid ass idea, right?
Mhm.
I love this, right? This is such in the right time frame. We don't know, like we're seeing these visions that Grogu had. We don't know if these are just Force visions, right? That he's not locked in a tower like a princess, you know, being locked away, being hidden, because obviously not everybody knew about him. Only the masters probably knew about him, right? So you've got this opportunity where the Bad Batch is going to Coruscant after Order 66. Who's not to say that they don't stumble upon something that they didn't know they were going to come across, right? I'm also not opposed to, you know, I mean, it blows my R2 theory out of the water, and that kind of bums me out, but what a great way to sneak that in here, right? To see a Grogu in animation could potentially happen.
Especially with the fact that Mando is going to be starting up right in the like towards the end of the Bad Batch, which I was listening to Star Wars Meg today, and she kind of sparked the idea in my brain. It's cool that Bad Batch potentially, you know, it's has this cloning arc that we know is going to be going on towards the end of the season, which is right when Mando starts up. Mando has cloning stuff going on too, and seeing the two tie in potentially through that would be incredible.
Yeah, it
I
just
think it
seems
all
like
has to.
well, it just seems like a great opportunity to again sew up, right? Sew something up. Like let's put it to bed. Let's get it out of the system. Because like I said, we don't know that Grogu wasn't just seeing those as a vision, right? Feeling the pain of the other. Like Yoda, you saw what happened to Yoda, right? Yoda's the grandmaster of grandmasters, right? He's the leader of the pack, and you saw it drop him, right? He's like, oh, like he's having a stroke.
Mm.
Who's to say Grogu, not really being the trained Jedi yet, doesn't get succumbed by his vision, right?
Yeah.
And that he has this vision of what's going on around him. So it just seems like this would be a good opportunity to put this to bed. Oh, it pissed the fandom off something fierce. Oh, they'd be mad. They'd be so mad. Oh my God, Omega rescued Grogu. That's so stupid. Oh my God, they would lose their goddamn minds. It would be fantastic. I hope they do it. I hope they do it. Please do
Yeah,
it.
I hope some of these characters have a long-lasting effect
Yeah.
on story. Like I want something big for her. I
Me
still think
too.
she could potentially be Force something.
At this point, there
Not
would
saying sensitive, but like maybe she is something different,
at this
or she
point
can feel it differently.
at this point they would have identified something about her, a sense, a
Mm.
feeling, a sound in the background.
Do you not put any merit behind the fact that she is like the perfect, like if any show ever does a perfect person, it's like the smooth skinned, blonde haired. She had the jewel in her forehead at the beginning of the show. Like they gassed her up to be like royalty almost. I don't know, like if
Well,
that
but
was just
you almost
because
have to
she was
gas
the
her up
only
because
female clone. Like
you got to
there
gas
was
her up
something there.
because she's Boba's twin, basically, right? Like you
Mm.
got to look at it like that. Like she's a direct, untampered, aside from that one chromosome, an unaltered genetic duplication of Django, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what's unique about her is the genetic code that she shares. But I think you got to gas her up because at this point, Boba's a badass, right? Like he's getting trained by Bosk and all these other bounty hunters, and she's getting trained by the Bad Batch. So like this is going to be when these two do finally meet, it's going to be a really interesting dynamic of, well, I got trained by ruthless bounty hunters. Well, I got trained by, these guys. Like it's going to be a fun way to, I don't know, throw that dance out there, right? Two different, I guess, if the constant theme of Star Wars is the twin, the twin suns and the dual fates and the light and the dark. What a better way to use that without the Force than with these two, right? It's almost, I mean, I'm gonna make it. I wish Matt was here. He's probably, he definitely get it. Hawks will probably get it. But it's like Danny
Don't feel bad
DeVito
if I don't.
it's like Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger, right? It's like the story of twins, right? Where one of them is raised in this perfect environment around all these beautiful,
Got all the
lovely
good
people.
genes.
Yeah, and Boba's like the leftover crap that's just getting trained by bounty hunters. It's just this funny like duality that cracks me up because it's it's funny.
No, facts. I mean, the other thing I was reading up in the chat a little bit ago. Where was it? Sorry about this. Now I can't find it. It wasn't that far back. Trained by the Bendu. No, I don't even know where it was now. I saw something in the chat that had my brain going, and now I can't find it.
Well, it wasn't trained.
Oh, okay. Maybe Omega finds Grogu on Coruscant and the Bad Batch escort him. No. Okay.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. Is that's an easy way, or at least show Omega seeing little R2 scurry by with him on his back, like something. Show us something. Like we don't even have to engage it, right?
Would the Force ever choose a cloned thing as a vessel?
I mean, why not? The Force chooses what it does.
I mean, not for nothing, they've titled the movie Force Awakens.
I mean,
I remember what it was.
I'm reaching, but
So I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I've seen it in other people's streams and different things. Brian Stone said we still need a purpose for Omega, and KG said the whole Bad Batch still needs a purpose. Why? That's my question. Why? What, like, everybody's goes into Star Wars stuff expecting there to be a purpose for things. It's like the purpose of the Bad Batch is to tell a story that happens after Order 66 and what happens to the clones from the perspective of these enhanced clones. That's the purpose of the Bad Batch. What more purpose do you need? Like, that's the question I have. Like, we're going on this journey. What was the purpose of Rebels?
Right.
To show the start of the rebellion, which this is the start of the Empire, really, from the eyes of clones. So that's the real purpose here. And the purpose of Omega is still up in the air, for sure. I agree with that. We don't really know what the purpose of Omega long-term is, but that's the whole point of the Bad Batch here, is to find out what the purpose is, to go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we're not even halfway through. Like, we're going to find out the purpose.
And I'm going to go on a tangent here, but like, Star Wars fans are ridiculously ignorant sometimes. I'm sorry. I love all of you guys. I love every Star Wars fan that's out there, but we fall so much into absolutes. That's what the Sith do, fam. That's literally what the Sith do. How about we just sit here and go with the Force like a Jedi is supposed to? And guess what? When we get to the end of the journey, we're gonna be like, damn, that was a good ass journey. So I don't know why everybody's like, oh, this is filler, that's filler. We're trying to rush through stuff. It's like, relax. Let the Force guide us. We're going to get through the story, and it's going to be a damn good story by the end of it.
Well, I mean, look,
Amen, brother.
It's number one, it's hard to really get on a show that's it's not done yet. Number one. I mean, I'm always saying the same thing. Like, let's wait till the end before we cast our stones. And you know, it's the fandom's in a really fun place right now for me. I enjoy the debate, right? The spirit of debate for me is a big part of Star Wars, because it's been ingrained the entire time, right? Since the beginning, there was always this diversity to the fandom, and maybe George wrote it intentionally the way he did it to add a little bit of spice to the sauce, so to speak. But you know, it's tough to just say, well, you guys don't understand Star Wars, because everybody's got a different perspective, right? And that's the great thing about it. So but they're right. I mean, Omega we don't know her. You know, we get what the Bad Batch is doing, right? They're just trying to survive, but we don't really know what the purpose of Omega was, right? That is still yet. So in that regard, I agree. I agree with you in the Bad Batch. The show is trying to do this, that, and the other, but ultimately, as a character, Omega is the story, right? Like, she's the reason we're drawing through this arc, right? Because without her, there is no arc, right? So ultimately, they're symbiotic in this, right? It's showing us what's happening to the clone from a clone's perspective after Order 66, and how we transition into Stormtrooper and TKs. Yeah. But at the same time, Omega is driving us through this with her story, right? Her learning about everything, her figuring things out. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Mace Windu in a bit. I mean, I have no doubt we could talk Mace Windu and that bus driving bitch here soon enough. But you know, it's definitely interesting, and I'm looking very forward to seeing the Omega surprise, because there's a surprise in there somewhere, right? She's not.
I'm saying, she makes my absolutes tingle. There's something about that clone, bro.
I mean, look, there's something
Sith
about
plots everywhere.
Well, I mean, look, that's the great thing, is the Sith were already, Palp's already had Tantus set up, obviously, because as soon as they shut down the clones. He was like, up, take the lead scientists to Tantus and let's get started on our projects, or further along our projects. But no one saw that. Like the Kaminoans should have seen that coming. That was their vanity, thinking, well, they'll never survive without us.
Bro, what if Order 99 is something in Omega's head?
I don't.
She was created by them.
I don't think
she was created by them.
I was gonna say I don't think
they told us that.
I was gonna say I don't think she has a chip either, but that could just be literally like I don't think they ever checked her for a chip either.
Hold on. Yeah, I mean, look, I
thought you ought to know.
So, and we'll get there. Don't worry. You could put your pumps on, and we'll get to you in just a minute. Don't worry. I know the hate fires brewing in the fandom today. I spent a lot of time on Twitter watching the hate fires burn. So we'll get there.
Don't you worry. Feeling about this.
Oh yeah, you should. You should have a bad feeling about this. Very bad feeling about it. But look, it's definitely going. This episode, Tribe, I think, is also might have a lot to do with Omega and the group maybe realizing her place, realizing the what they want,
And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
But yeah, I think the Tribe might also refer more to her than just the Wookiees, right? I think it might have to do with the Bad Batch maybe finally realizing her value as a member of their squad, maybe making her some armor, some custom Omega armor out of that white helmet, maybe, you know what I mean, that's sitting in the back of Sid's shop. I think these could be things because she's the only one not rocking armor. She's really the only one in danger, right? Because that Clone 1 armor was primo shit, right? I mean, Rex swears by it. He's got the fat and jigglies going on and he's busting out of it, but he's like, I'm rocking this shit. This phase 2 and on is garbage, right? So well, that looked like it hurt. So
I'm fine, we're fine. Everything's
to me
fine.
it just feels like Tribe and maybe even Metamorphosis or whatever the transformation or the episode that's coming up soon is actually her transformation into armor, right? And that leading up to that, she has to get into some armor.
She does.
So
maybe the metamorphosis is a time jump and she just grows the hell up and we can get on with the story.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, show me them adjusting.
Sorry, Sheev, I know.
You're good.
Show me them adjusting some armor, making her armor, right? The helmet, make the helmet fit, put some padding in. But she's the only one that doesn't have. She's really the only vulnerable one. Everybody else can take a couple shots. She gets hit. She's done.
For real though, she does need some armor. I mean, I've been on the white helmet train since the beginning, so definitely with you there, Obsession. But you're right, man. I love the way that a lot of times in Star Wars, and especially in Star Wars animation, and especially in the Bad Batch, they do these double entendres almost with the episode titles, where they have multiple meanings. Where, the Tribe. We think it's going to be about the Wookiees, obviously, because that's a tribe, but it could easily also have to do with Omega and the Tribe with the Bad Batch. It could even do with how really Crosshair isn't fitting in with his tribe. I doubt that we're going to see too much of Crosshair this episode, but there's so many different ways that they can do that. And I love that Star Wars does those double entendres.
Yeah, look, I think it's definitely about her. I think we forget that a lot of times that this show is, yes, it's titled The Bad Batch, right? But not every Star Wars show, right? Like we're seeing in Mandalorian right now. There's a big controversy right now. Like I was watching John Campea the other day. They were talking about Mando versus This Is Us, and I loved the conversation. So I was really involved in watching. And, they mentioned something about the show title getting changed potentially next season and it becoming The Mandalorians, not just The Mandalorian. And I think this is where we get lost in this stuff. And I'm sure that was just a hypothesis. It's not anything that's actually happening. But at the same time, I look at that like, okay, you're looking at this like Din Djarin is the Mandalorian, right? The story of the Mandalorian, Din Djarin is narrating this basically, right? He talks about how he was found as a foundling, and then Grogu gets found as a foundling, right? He talks about being raised in the Creed. He's raising Grogu in the Creed, right? Grogu had to pick for himself, Jedi or Mandalorian. He picks to learn how to be with his guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This story, although called The Mandalorian, and Din Djarin has been our main character so far, really, this could be about Grogu, ultimately, right? Or about Din Djarin becoming Mandalore, right? These are it's not necessarily about one Mandalorian, right? And I think that's where this show also is titled The Bad Batch, but it's not really about the Bad Batch. Yes, they're there in the forefront, but it's about Omega. It's about this other character that they couldn't call it the Omega show because who gives a shit about a new character called Omega? But you have this badass group of clones, and it's like, these guys are pretty fun. You show them getting into some trouble. They adopt this kid. Boom, they're off, and this is the adventure. But she's still worth more than all of them combined.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
So
I feel like she has like traits of all of them too. To your like, I know obsession. That's your big thing.
You love this theory, so I feel like just run with it. I love it.
No, it's your theory. It's your theory, bro. Stop.
No.
There could be also strength in that
mine.
too. Like,
I'm telling you to continue to flower it across the galaxy.
I will.
I
will
love
because
this theory.
it is a great theory. Like the fact that the Bad Batch could be the children of Omega is just brilliant, man. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen her abilities. Like I said, I think these next couple episodes are going to be about her coming into their own. I think all of these titles are more about her than they are about them, right? Tribe. What did Boba Fett figure out at the end of the titled show? Tribe. Where am I going to be? Where do I want to be? Finding my home, right? Finding my people. Yes, they'll use other characters to get us there, but it feels like to me a lot of these titles are more about her than the Bad Batch themselves. So
yeah, I think her blood type just being the strongest of all the clones is still valuable to Palpatine in his efforts to try to make a body that he can sustain.
Well, I mean,
there could be something there.
You think
She's
he knows
a
about
quote
her?
unquote perfect clone.
No, he does not know about her. He has no idea.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, she was definitely kept secret on Kamino.
No,
I don't think most people did.
No, I think the upper scientists knew about her.
You know what?
It's Palpatine.
I will say Tarkin definitely has at least seen her, but he didn't even put together that she's one of the 5 enhanced clones.
No.
So maybe Tarkin would have said something, but I would have kind of doubt that.
You would have been the one,
because when asked, there were 5 clones in front of him. He didn't know that that Echo Robot was not one of the enhanced clones. He had no idea because he saw 5 of the Bad Batch sitting in front of him.
Yeah,
they just pulled a rope-a-dope because they're like, well, what you don't know won't hurt me. So I'm not showing my hand, right? But I do think that Palps would be interested in this because I don't think Dooku selected the sample source on his own. I don't think Lord Tyrannus came in and was like, oh, here's Boba Fett or here's Jango Fett. He's, this sick bounty hunter. We're going to clone off of him. I think Palps had 100% stake in who got chosen to do that. Right. So, because Dooku wasn't his apprentice when he started that. Right.
Do you think that way back then, when Palpatine first started all this cloning stuff, do you think he was thinking about transferring then? And how to essence transfer and how to sustain his life afterwards?
I think since him and Plagueis had those conversations as an apprentice, and Plagueis was like, your essence transfer is bullshit. Listen, your essence transfer, you got to metachlorines. Metachlorines is where it's at. You got to manipulate the metachlorines. You and your friends, you live forever, right? And Palps is like, I want to essence transfer. I don't want to live. I want to get in a better body when I'm old. I don't want this old ass rickety ass body, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it seems to me that yeah, it just seems to me like Palps was playing chess, bro.
Oh yeah,
And-
everybody else is playing checkers.
Well, and here's the question: did Sifo Dyas choose the sample, or did Palpatine choose Jango Fett? Because the army was technically, wasn't it created by Sifo Dyas behind the council's back, and then Plagueis and Palps found out about it and then started their own side hustle to take over.
I believe it's actually Tyrannus or Count Dooku that technically brings in Django. I don't know how it all works because it's a little bit convoluted in my opinion, but I believe in Attack of the Clones, even Django says to Obi-Wan, like, I was recruited by a man called Tyrannus. Like,
So then he was recruited after the death of Maul.
and I would think if I don't know if Dooku would have been the one to choose him though, but that could mean that Palpatine did choose you know,
Well,
Django is the
Palpatine's a great politician. He never gets his hands dirty. I think he only got his hands dirty like twice to mop things up, and that's like
yeah, but
like
who
Maul.
did Dooku follow orders from?
No. I'm not saying he didn't say do this, do that. I'm just saying Palps never got his hands dirty. It was always his emissaries doing all the dirty work. So, but that's my point, is that we don't know how long Django was being vetted. We don't know, time wise. I mean, age progression. We don't know how much age progression there is in the clones, right? Because if Dooku did it after he kills Yaddle, which means immediately after Qui-Gon's death is when Dooku's like, I'm in. And he kills Yaddle in front of Palps. And from that day forward, did they start cloning? Right? Because, I mean, think about it. Anakin is a little boy. The next time we see him, the clones show up. He's what? 18? 16?
I think 19 maybe. Yeah.
Right? So what? Like 9-10 years have gone by? Just the right amount. Just the right amount of time for the clones to progress to fighting age. So, my point being is he was obviously being looked at before that. So Palps must have absolutely vetted him for this and wanted him. So did he want eventually to clone Django to maybe shove some Force blood in to try to create a vessel?
Interesting.
Right? Because that's really what he's after. He's after a vessel that he has high force ability, high metachlorines that he can transfer into.
Yeah.
And since
Dale is correct, I believe that their aging is supposedly doubled, but
even still, you're talking about
Yeah.
18, 19-year-old Jango Fett's running around.
Yeah.
Right? So it just seems like, 20-year-old Jango Fett's running around. Yeah, that's a perfect timing, right? Right from when Qui-Gon dies, boom, they're fast forwarding into cloning and moving their plan along. But at this point, Sifo Dyas is dead. Right? So, but Sifo Dyas was the one that the Kaminoans said started the cloning thing. So did he pretend it, or did he use Sifo Dyas, then kill him, then erase the Kamino databanks, right? Like there's all kinds of shifty time shit going on here with Dooku. They were moving, once Qui-Gon died, they started moving real fast. Like real fast. All right, so let's move forward. Predictions for tonight, right? Just outright. What are we doing? Who's showing up? What do you think? And then we're gonna jump into the other crazy shit that's going on today.
Oh yeah. You want to go first?
You guys,
you guys gotta go, because when it comes to like the future speculation, I have no idea where the hell this show is going.
I kind of put out some of my speculation in the beginning, but I do think with the episode being titled Tribe that this is going to be the Kashyyyk episode where we meet Gunji. I kind of think that it's going to start with like Sid sending them off to go do a mission, because that's how they've helped out a lot of the planets that have needed liberation from the Empire. So I think that's probably how they're going to get drawn into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something else. but I do think that's gonna be kind of the start. And I do think actually that Gunji might be in hiding, which could be like he's there and he's there to help his people. But most Jedi during this time period are in hiding and they're trying to kind of stay on the low key, I guess you could say. And maybe even that's why he doesn't have his lightsaber, is because he is trying to stay in the hiding. But I do think that we're going to see Gunji, and hopefully he doesn't end up getting, because that would definitely suck.
Before I
Yeah.
forget it, this will be my big like speculation thing that would be dope to see is flashback to again Order 66, but how Gunji got away. And it doesn't even have to be like he was at the temple. It'd be cool if he was like on a different star system with some other Jedis, and maybe we see how one of our other favorite Jedi gets taken out. We saw Kanan's
That would be dope.
master the same way. So give us one of those flashbacks where it's like he's on the run, gets away from clones.
Yeah,
And
I
now
can't-
they meet him and he's like scared of them or something, So
Yeah, I can't see him being at the temple at the time.
right.
It just seems like everybody at the temple got, right?
Mhm.
And so
But not everyone was there when they got.
true.
what I mean?
So- And just like Kanan and Master Baloba,
Mhm.
and then others across the galaxy, a bunch of Padawan. I mean, just like
Is
Cal
Kanan
Kestis.
not supposed to make another appearance at some point?
I'm really hoping for the Hera Kanan episode.
Because
I
what
really
if Gunji is like a misdirect? Or you get them both. Like maybe there's a couple of Jedi hiding out someplace.
Well, I will say I've been kind of wondering this whole time since the stream started. Do you guys think that we're going to see the other Jedi that were with Gunji in those like the Gathering episode of Clone Wars and different things? Personally, I didn't, just because I would think he probably went back with his master after the Gathering and everything, and they were probably all scattered throughout the galaxy like the Jedi were. But I don't know. I think it's possible that at some point he tries to meet up with one of them, or he still has connections to them.
if he was granted as a Padawan, right? I mean, the master has to take him, right? I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, we see that with Kanan in the comics as he's talking about these other Jedi about wanting to apprentice for Kenobi and all of this. So they have to be chosen by the council to get that nod to be a Padawan. So it seems like the last time we saw all of those from that Gathering episode of Clone Wars, the last time we saw them was when Anakin was fighting Barriss, and they're still in class with Master
Luminara?
No,
no,
it's a white saber. It's Old Man Kane.
Oh, Terra Sanube?
There you go. They're training with him in the courtyard, going over basic forms. When Anakin is fighting Barriss right before, I mean, this is weeks before Order 66, really. Well, I guess not. Because
maybe months.
Ahsoka was gone for a while. So in those months, he could have been, granted a master and off into the universe and whatever. But I think him escaping from the temple is, I mean, yes, Reva did, and yes, there are others, and potentially Grogu also. But they definitely needed help. They definitely
yeah, Reva got stabbed. And I personally think Grogu got taken. I don't think he was rescued from the temple.
No,
personally.
yeah.
I can't see him
definitely with the bad guys when we meet him.
I can't see him living. I think if Palpatine finds out what a high M county has, he drains that little dude of all of his blood, cuts him into little pieces, and eats him.
Like a porg.
I mean, like fry. Yeah, I think he dissect. Like, you got to remember, he has no heart.
Especially because he hates Yoda.
And he hates Yoda, and he's get away, you didn't. I could see him, dancing with Grogu, like, right before dancing him over to the stove.
Drop him in the pot.
I just think, look, man, that it just seems like he wouldn't have ended up in some back alley planet surrounded by mercenaries if Palpatine and the clones in the Empire found him. I can't, unless there's a rescue mission, unless the Bad Batch gets killed rescuing Grogu, and that's been the whole point of the whole show, is they rescued Grogu and they paid all of their wages to this bounty collective to protect him forever, right? I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense if you're tracking that action.
So everybody thinks Plan 99, which is I think the title of the last episode of this season, is something that's going to be like the Empire going after the Bad Batch. I'm going to throw out something here. What if Plan 99 is the Bad Batch's plan to infiltrate Mount Tantus, which the episode before is titled The Mountain or the Summit? What if Plan 99 ends up being the plan to rescue Grogu or rescue people in Mount Tantus?
I mean, what a great way to tell the story of Grogu, right? Because this wasn't a thing before. I mean, really, it was in Dave's mind, right? He loved the Bad Batch. He loved Clone Force 99. You saw that because there were these unfinished arcs that he had drawn up, much like Ahsoka's arc with Bendu and Rebels, stuff he wanted to get to, but just didn't have enough time. What an interesting way to tell the story of Grogu's the story before we see him, right? Because they're like, oh, well, they love Grogu. And then, I guess that's the interesting conversation I see between him and Dave, right? Jon Favreau and Dave are sitting down having coffee at Lucasfilm, and Dave goes, hey, how's Grogu working out? The people liking him? And Favreau's like, oh, fuck yeah, the people love Baby Yoda. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. We named him Baby Yoda to start with, right? Yeah, right. We put that in the press, right? Okay. So everybody's like a Baby Yoda, yeah. Okay. Fuck, I got an idea. What if I write an animation showing how Grogu got away? And for 2 seasons, 2 years, I'll rope-a-dope these people into thinking this is just a shit show. And the last episode, you're gonna see Clone Force 99 getting Grogu out. Everybody dies, but Sid has to pay their debt and gets Grogu and has bounty hunters and mercenaries protecting him forever. Everybody hates Sid, right? Yeah, everybody will hate Sid until the end. Okay. Yeah, I can work with that. Let's do that. Okay. You down for that? Yeah. 2 years, right? So that gives me 2 more seasons before you reveal how it happened. Yeah, 2 years. I can get to a 2, 3. I can get to the 13. I can get to end of season 3 before you reveal that. Oh, fuck yeah, let's do that.
Something I was going to say earlier about the whole
That's
animation thing.
Brilliant. If this comes to fruition, that is fucking brilliant. That is some fucking.
The Clone Wars was 6 seasons, and they still wanted 1 more. Let's do 8 of the Bad Batch. Yes,
dude.
I've been saying 5 since the start of when I first started the channel. I thought the show was going to be 5 seasons, at least 3 in my opinion. I don't think it's going to end this season, but
5?
I think it's 5.
Bro, 5 seasons of the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Are you kidding? Do you know how long the Empire reigned, fam?
So we're gonna go through Clone 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to Clone CT 99999999. They're gonna rescue all of them. We're gonna meet all the clones.
Well, I mean, if they wanted to completely play out the clone civil war, if they wanted to play that card and truly all of the clones left in the galaxy go up against the Empire, that's the only way I could see it. And it's literally a recruiting episode every other episode to get more clones on board to build it. It's basically Mando season 3.
Well, that's the thing too. Rebels is 4 seasons, and there's 4 or 5 years to for the time period of that story. But I've always thought 3 to 5 because first of all, we're starting at the very beginning of the Empire. Second, they're taking their time with some of these fillery episodes, so it's they can drag it out for 5 seasons, and that's why I think it's going to at least be 3, is because even Rebels was 4. So I don't know though.
I mean, man, that I really
Bad Batch.
I think I honestly, have they greenlit any other seasons?
No, that everybody thought it was only going to be a 1 season thing in the first season.
I think this is going to be the end.
A lot of people thought that the Bad Batch were going to die at the end of season 1, which that's the thing is Dave with his secrets is all hey, you guys think it's going to end after.
Well, but see, that's what I'm saying. I think this would really be
Zepho in there.
This would really be Dave's prime, a prime ha to everybody. If this is the Grogu story, if this whole story culminates in the rescuing of Grogu, what a great way to use this. What a great way to rope-a-dope everybody.
Chef's kiss.
I mean,
What if the Bad Batch was going to save Grogu and then they pulled those 2 episodes and pushed the show back?
look,
Didn't that happen?
again-
Didn't they like move the show back?
Well, they did move the show back, which, and you know what's
cut some
hilarious?
stuff, you
They
think?
moved the show back after they moved Mandalorian back.
right. That's what I'm saying. That's why this is tracking more and more with me,
Mhm.
because look, Sid's a ruthless bounty. Like, she's all about the Benjamins, right? And she's constantly talking about debt, right? You owe me, I owe you. You owe me, I owe you. Right? She's starting to feel this kinship with the kid, right? The kid helps her make money. She makes money. They're all in this thing, and then all of a sudden they all die on a mission, and the only thing left is Grogu.
Mm.
And to pay her debt, the only thing that was asked of her is to protect the kid. Well, who was protecting Grogu? It wasn't Jedi. It wasn't Imperials. It was mercenaries. Paid mercenaries.
Yeah, I always wonder about that.
So what better ta-da at the end of this than to watch Sid walking just Grogu's carrier, not even opening it, saying no one opens this ever, right? No one opens this ever. Puts the sheet on it and puts money on the table and says your credits will be here every cycle or whatever, right? She's all about that debt. They're building her to be this uncaring piece of crap, right? But at the end, you see her connection with Omega.
Yeah.
So if everybody at the end dies, including Omega, this is her way to pay it back, to make it right. Right? You got to go out square. This would be a brilliant stroke, because everybody's like, Bad Batch sucks. Bad Batch shit. Fuck the animation, right? What a great way for everybody to be like, oh, you don't like the animation? You got to watch this if you want to know how Grogu got out.
Man, I've been wanting to say this for like 30 minutes now, but I got to do my weekly animation just rant. Like, the Star Wars animation is so good. The thing about Star Wars animation, and people, you want to see certain things in live action. I get that, but there's literally things you can do in animation that you can't do in live action. That's literally like, it's almost limitless, the storytelling they can do. I remember hearing at one point Rosario Dawson, when training for the Ahsoka character, was like, oh, cool. Like watching all these things of Ahsoka doing crazy battles and stuff. And she's like, oh, like through her stunt coordination, it's like, oh, I want to be able to do that. And the stunt coordinator's like, well, that's not humanly possible, so you can't. And it's like, that's the type of stuff that we can get in animation that we can't get in live action. And why it frustrates me when fans don't give animation a chance or say that certain parts of animation are bad. It's like, yeah, sometimes the animated stuff can go off the rails because it's animated, and it can. It's also, somewhat geared towards a younger audience, but at the same time, it's made for adults. So it's like, it frustrates me that people are so critical on the animated side of Star Wars. And especially when it's 30-minute episodes every week, it's like, just be patient, man. Like I've been saying, just go with the Force, be patient. You might not like every episode because, hey, even if you're a Clone Wars fan, I guarantee you didn't love every single Clone Wars episode. But still, it's like the amount that they can do in animation that they can't do in live action. Animation should be the future of Star Wars. That's how I'll end this rant. It's just animation should be the future of Star Wars.
Well, I mean, it definitely plays its role, right? To say that the animation is a useless thing is, I mean, you wouldn't have the Clone Wars, you wouldn't have Ahsoka, you wouldn't have Bo-Katan, right? I mean, all of these characters that people are loving right now, all of these story arcs that people are digging, they're because of the animation. The Darksaber is an animation,
for sure,
right? That arc is an animation arc. So if you're going to sit here and go, well, we don't like this and I don't like that, well, that's great. But at the same time, you're limiting yourself on content. You're limiting yourself on what you're going to understand because
And
because you're
they've
shorting yourself.
been doubling and tripling down on the animation. The last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, they used mocap and brought Ray Park directly back in. Bro, I saw Darth Maul again
Right.
on screen. You could tell the difference between the animation and the mocap. Like, it was next level. And then they get the freedom to do shows like Visions. There's cartoons and Visions that are not for my 7-year-olds, bro. Like, it's stuff that's going to go over their head and they're not going to get it. I think, again, I agree. I think some of this animation stuff is going to be the future. Tales of the Sith. Like, I think that's going to be a thing we see. 1000%.
I don't think it should just be animated stuff, obviously, but I think there's so much like potential with the animation and so many great stories they've already created. What up, Dan?
Bro, they
Not
need to
bad.
just do a
Years later.
full 100% CGI Old Republic shows, movies, whatever you want to do, but like Avatar the shit out of that.
Mm.
Well, look,
I'm
man,
just
I mean,
saying, man.
A lot of
thing
people's
is-
language right now.
Well, the thing is that I mean the Clone Wars mocap stuff and this segues perfect into what I want to get into. The Jedi Fallen Order mocap stuff is the future of animation, right? So they're doing stuff now that is absolutely the future of animation, and that segues into our thing I was most looking forward to this year. Is Survivor getting pushed back 6 weeks? So
They didn't get pushed back a whole decade.
Yep.
well, I mean, at least it's not like that's what I'm saying.
like
At
that
least
other
it's not
one.
like Eclipse, where
Eclipse.
to be determined on the cutting room floor. But right now, it's an
Someone
exciting.
get Charles Soule over there, please.
It's an exciting time because if they pushed it back, they pushed it back for a good reason. They did the same thing with Bad Batch. If they pushed it back, they pushed it back for a good reason. Whether there was a glitch in the beta testing that was going on, whether it was you're still struggling, whether it was whatever it is, whether it's more dialogue, what if it's something they're adding to the story or a post-credit scene at the end that pushes you into something they're doing now, right? Like there are reasons that they're doing this. There are reasons that they're not releasing. You think it doesn't hurt their bottom line to not release on time? Do you think that it doesn't hurt them going 6 weeks? How many cancellations do you think we're going to get? Right? I mean, they're always playing the numbers game. This is part of it, and they're probably losing a couple people that were going to order or whatever. But I'm cool with it because now I cannot work that whole week that it comes out instead of going to work.
I'm actually not cool with it, and I expect it to be bugged as hell. I expect a lot of bugs when that game comes out.
Really?
I mean, I remember playing recently the older one on the PC release, and the PC release had still some issues, but
that's
nothing game breaking. But
that's because it was a PC.
They say they want to polish it and this other stuff, and it's like,
well, and you got to remember
the next gen games are running rough.
Well, but the next gen games are not having as much trouble on the next gen platforms. I think they're having more trouble on PC than they are in the next.
Maybe that's my issue. Yeah, maybe.
I think that's probably what it is, because like Jedi Fallen Order was a PS4 game, right? And they did a mod and upgrade to the PS5, little bit of graphics upgrade. But really, this next one is designed for the next gen console. So this next one I expect
yeah.
But why not do early release then and let people beta it if it's something with like the polishing and the testings? I just don't know how much they're gonna be able to do in 6 weeks behind the scenes. That's gonna make it drastically different.
I will say real quick, just to be devil's advocate, because I was talking about it on Twitter. Don't get me wrong, I'm super bummed about this. It sucks. It would have been cool to have it in March. On the bright side, I do think that they are, scrubbing stuff up. There could be bugs right now, but the fact that they are taking the extra time is a good sign in some aspects. And then the other thing is, it's a few weeks after Star Wars Celebration. So this could just be because, we're getting Bad Batch and Mando in March. That's a lot of content already. Having the game on top of it would be a crap ton. That would have been more Star Wars than we ever got in 1 month. You know what I mean? So to push it back just a little bit, make sure the game is perfect. Maybe they're even making it so that, hey, this game might not sell as much if we do have it just on next gen exclusive. Maybe we can tweak it a little bit with an extra month or whatever to make it for PS4 and all this other stuff. Because I know it's supposed
we
to
don't
be
know.
exclusive. Yeah, that could be the case. I'm just putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's on the long end. I do think that this is going to work. I don't expect it to be that buggy. Like maybe it could be, but if you're talking about buggy with the next gen stuff and everything, I think really Lego Star Wars is buggy because that's an open world game. That's a huge game. They put so much in that game. That's why that game is buggy. I don't know a lot of next gen stuff lately, in my opinion, that's run rough. Like I didn't think God of War ran rough at all, and that's a huge game also.
I didn't think Ghostbusters ran rough either.
Yeah, so I don't think
If they're having issues now, I'm just like, man.
I wonder if they're even having issues. I'm curious if they're going to try to integrate Cal into our universe.
Man, let me turn this to
that would be dope too.
And that's kind of what I feel like. What a great post.
Delay it on purpose because there's gonna be implications, right?
Potentially, or a post-cred scene that could lead him in. But go ahead, Dan. Tee it up, Buttercup.
I'm gonna get us out the captivity of this year negativity right now. Instead of focusing on the fact that we're not going to be getting it when Mando drops.
Oh.
Instead, we're going to
get it when Mando drops. I want it.
Yes, I love that little baby drop. Thank you, Session.
Yeah, no,
we're getting it when everything is out. Mando and Bad Batch, bro. All that shit's gonna be over with, and you can play that and go back and rewatch all that other shit.
Well, and what a great thing to do, because I guess they also realize there's nothing in the middle between Bad Batch, Mando, and Ahsoka. So give people 3 months to play this game, dissect it completely, learn all the forms, and then jump into Ahsoka.
Not to mention
maybe Skeleton Crew might be dropping. I know there's
you're reaching, bro.
I don't even think that show's done filming, if I'm being honest.
I know the rumor says it got delayed because of additional filming, but honest to God, it was slated for 2023. I like it to keep it that way.
Yeah,
I think Mando is the next project, obviously, but I think it's going to be somewhere somewhere in the way. Then it's going to be Ahsoka, probably fall, I would guess, and after that, I think it's possible Skeleton Crew's the end of the year, like Book of Boba was. But
I just want my goddamn Skeleton Crew in 2023.
Me too. Me too. Because to be honest, I am a little tired of the delays, but it's
right. Yeah.
Which is really why everybody's
okay, hold up. Like, I know everybody's tired of the delays. I know everybody.
It happens every time, man. Like, I'm the most positive Star Wars fan in the fandom, and it's annoying.
Look at how much they're putting out. Like, fuck right off with your delay.
Oh no, yeah.
Delay fatigue. Like, I'm sorry. We started the year with some good shit. With we get all this. We jump into Bad Batch. We got Mando coming. We got Ahsoka on the pop. There's 3 shows this year that are fire and big story arcs.
They took away my Star Wars Maverick. I want my Star Wars Maverick back.
Like, hit him one more time with the baby cry obsession. Like, I'm getting tired of it.
It's just look, for me, delay it all you want, right? I'm getting not only am I going to have Bad Batch to finish chatting about, and depending on what direction they go for us, but then I have Mando to finish out to get me into the summer, right? And then I get Fallen Order right in the middle of that,
right after Celebration.
And we could talk about Celebration if you guys want to get into the thick of the weeds. We could talk.
We'll definitely jump there in a minute.
But
I'm going.
But okay, we'll talk about it then. But then we get Fallen Order, then we get Survivor. They could have implications into other arcs of time, right? There's so much they're doing. Take your time. And I hope it's more of a post-credit scene, right? They're having to mocap potentially Cal Kestis. They're having to mocap maybe mocap Ahsoka Maybe mocap Rosario for Ahsoka. Maybe mocap one of these other characters that's in the current timeline to bring Cal Kestis into the fold, right? If that's what you're doing and taking this time for that, take it. Hey, we
What
made
up?
it.
Real quick though, another
I-
thing.
like StreamYard, so I had to go with fucking Microsoft.
Yeah, it's happened.
Gotta love
Well,
streaming.
I didn't realize it, but that actually fucked me out of my stream, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, because I didn't realize StreamYard was fucking with me until like 10 minutes before, and I was like, well shit.
Yeah.
So I used
We've
Streamlabs
all
last
been
weekend.
Yeah.
Another
we've all-
thing with the
So my
Survivor
apologies for all the
game.
fucking sound, but I'm here.
You're good, bro.
Oh, you're good.
Good to
dude.
see you chilling.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hey, it's good to see you guys too. I appreciate the time as usual.
Welcome back, old friend.
So where were we at? Where are we at now that I'm finally working?
We're still talking about delays for
Well, yeah, we're talking about the delay for Jedi Survivor, and real quick because I gotta spit it out.
Oh,
The
you mean
the
like what, the 25th or
28th or
32nd
August, or-
fucking delay in a row out of anything related to Lucasfilm? Is that the
But-
delay you're talking about?
Yeah, another part of the reason though, and I'm wondering when the book is going to release now. There is a Jedi Battle Scars book that's supposed to take place between Fallen Order and Survivor that was set to come out March. I don't know if that book's going to get pushed, but if this game got pushed back and the book didn't, thank God, because I read slow as hell.
They
I
just
wanna
wanted to
read
make
that
sure
book.
we all had time
I
to
think
read
the
it,
book
right?
was due out like what, the 17th? Wasn't that
No,
it?
that's when the game
was
was.
that the
I think
game?
the book is supposed to be the same week as Mando, if I'm being honest, which is like the first week of March.
Yeah,
So
I think that's right.
hopefully it still
Yeah,
comes out that
yeah,
first
I
week.
think so.
And then again, I can't stress this enough. It's gonna be a thing at Celebration. They're gonna make it a big deal with the new game coming out. And as far as Cal Kestis goes, with him being in live action, I don't think it's happening at this point. Not yet, because Mando's gonna be done by that point, most likely. Bad Batch is definitely not going to put him in. So it just, even Cameron Monaghan said that he wouldn't be in live action until the character was done with his game stories, and I still think there's another game to come. So,
Well, this in case you didn't see, this is the official statement from EA, Respawn, and Lucasfilm. For the past 3 years, the Jedi team here at Respawn has poured its collective heart and soul into Star Wars Jedi Survivor. 3 years. And we are proud to say the next chapter in the tale of Cal Kestis is content complete. We are now focused entirely on the final stage, bug fixing to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience. Jedi Survivor is dedicated. Jedi Survivor is a direct response to the feedback from our community, delivering expansive destinations to explore, evolve combat, and travel. What is that?
traversal.
Sorry, it's small.
You're good.
And
I
of
blew it
course,
up.
the continuation of Cal
That's what
and
she said.
BD's story, making this game has truly made us a better team. We have pushed ourselves to every level to make this the Star Wars sequel our fans expect from Respawn and Lucasfilm Games. In order for the team to hit the Respawn quality bar, provide the team with the time they need, and achieve the level of polish our fans deserve, we have added 6 critical weeks to our release schedule. Star Wars Jedi Survival will now launch globally on April 28th. Thanks to Respawn for giving us the time to deliver, and you for understanding. So,
Understanding. We ain't got no goddamn choice.
Translated, we didn't have our shit ready when we were supposed to, so now we got to push this shit out another.
I mean, look, it's
6 weeks.
Again, 6 weeks
Basically.
ain't shit. If you pushed 5 years
Yeah.
like Eclipse, then
Yeah.
at least they are delivering on a
Yeah.
game that's done with gameplay and have actually made a game. unlike Eclipse that built this hype on a big pile of, a house of cards, if you will, and the wind blew and knocked that horse
Great
down.
show, by the way.
So, look, I mean, take your time. Go ahead. Take 6 weeks. Take 2 months. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, in this isolate.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish. My bad.
Well, I mean, we're all
I
gonna.
was just gonna say, in this isolated case, yes,
We're gonna
6
love
weeks
it.
isn't a big deal, but this is a continued pattern from.
It doesn't help that it's a part of this whole fucking every new Star Wars game gets announced, gets delayed or canceled.
It's not just the games though.
Or
And
show.
again, I'm the most positive fan of the fandom. We talked about it, and I agree with Obsession. We're getting so much content. Really, we shouldn't be complaining, but it is still just a little bit annoying. It's just a little bit annoying to get so
I think
many
Star Wars
delays for
Explained
everything.
has your enthusiasm beat, honestly.
Maybe
Yeah.
he is very positive. I
Let's just say Melvin isn't completely full of shit, just 99.8%.
Well, I mean, look, every project has their hiccups, right? I mean, let's be real. But if they are going through the game with beta testers and really dissecting the game piece by piece, making sure they finish every level to 100%, making sure, because this game is, if they were just doing a cookie cutter of Fallen Order, fine, fuck you, you delayed it, you suck, give me my game. But you're talking about like the things that excite me about this game are things like being able to change forms, right?
yeah.
You're sitting here fighting a bunch of battle droids, you're using form 3, but then you're fighting another Jedi and you're like, well, I need to use form 5. The fact that you're able to transition between forms, that they're giving us even more on that portion of the lore, take your time, because I'm sure that's where a lot of the hiccups is transitioning during battle mode, right? Not necessarily gameplay, or because the Uncharted style of gameplay has been used over and over. That is not the encryption, and that is not the coding that they're having a lot of hard time with. I guarantee it's that transitioning between forms and battle mode. It's got to be something in the action that they're finding out as they're going through the game, doing different scenarios, right? Because there's not just one guy sitting in a lab going,
because in this game, Cal, he has a pistol. You can actually maybe either use one of the NPCs, Marin, Bode, Sear, whoever, Grease. Then you got the dual wielding lightsabers.
You can actually split them in this game.
Right. And travel on a fucking dinosaur like thing.
Heck, there even seems to be cross guard hilts potentially,
there's absolutely a time when
I saw that in the preview.
A lot more stuff going on than just, you might even play as BD1. So
but that's what I'm saying. There's so many different things going on with this game than the first game. The first game was basically Uncharted with a Star Wars skin and a Star Wars theme, right? The wall walking, all that stuff is very Uncharted, right? And the technology for that style of game had already been duplicated many times. So it wasn't really, I'm no doubt hard to difficult to code, but they weren't inventing anew, really, right? And that was one of the critiques of the game by people who have played a lot of these different style of games. Uncharted, this was very Uncharted. So if you could play Uncharted and you knew the dynamics and the control layout, you could rock this game no problem.
Yeah.
Now you have that on top of this array of new shit that they've been working on for 3 years, right? So not only did the story have to coalesce in this show, but you also had to introduce, like you said, potential co-play or AI co-play, at least pistol form, much like Kanan and Ezra, right? That was I would call that almost form 8, because that was a unique thing that was not really adopted by the Jedi, because they felt like those were primitive weapons. But then you get the these different forms, different lightsaber abilities, new abilities, right? All of this stuff, it's complex. And so, especially transitioning through gameplay, I'm sure the beta testers have had this thing for a while and they're just beating the crap out of it. Right. So for me, take 6 weeks. If it means that I'm not going to bash my controller into the ground when I'm in a crucial part in the game glitches, take your 6 weeks. Save me $50 on a controller. Okay. Save my headset from going across the room if I'm at the end of the game and it glitches. Right. Take that. Save me money. Please save me money.
No, I don't want to destroy any controllers either. They're getting too expensive nowadays too.
That's what I'm
PS5
saying.
controllers are like 70, 80 bucks.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I don't think I've not once in all my years of gaming ever destroyed.
I'm not me either, but I know there's people that like you get to the end of the game and it's
Yeah,
like,
me either.
and you're like, oh my God.
Y'all don't play enough 2K then.
Right.
Oh,
I'm not
no.
saying I've never thrown any. I've just
One of
never
my
destroyed
homeboys.
any.
One of mine too.
I always throw them at pillow.
Right. You
Every-
got to have a wall of pillows close by when you play these games because you never know when you're going to want to chuck something at the
He
wall.
just didn't know how to not get beat, and then every time I clapped him in 2K, it was like, damn. It's
Yeah.
just-
I mean, look, it's definitely a gut punch. I know a lot of us, I had plans to spend days in the chair playing the game, streaming it. I've been working on my setup. I've been getting the green screen set up. I've been getting scenes and all that stuff that you gamers do, getting ready, right? To do this. Great. You gave me another 6 weeks to iron this out. Thank you. Right. I mean, because honestly, everybody and their mama is going to be streaming this. I'm going to be up at midnight. I already told my better half, you're not going to see me for 3 days. Right. Until I complete this game, you're not going to see me. So I'm gonna be in here. If I'm gonna order food and I'm gonna throw it up through the window in the studio. I'm not even gonna have them knock on the front door, and I'm gonna tie a little line out the window so I can just get a little bucket, like Rapunzel, have some food sent to me. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'm
So
gonna.
we're all getting it April 18th, right? No one's waiting.
Oh,
28th.
the 28th.
That's what I said.
You said the 8th.
I thought it was 28th.
Oh fuck it. Well, goddamn, yeah.
I'm undecided. I think actually.
Oh, I'm definitely getting
I
on
bought
that.
the tin that comes with the lightsaber already. So
Yeah, buddy.
I'm kind of sad. That's why I'm so bummed about it, man.
It'll still come. It'll still be there.
I know.
Yeah, you just want your lightsaber.
I do.
I mean,
do
I
want
would.
that lightsaber.
I'd be more upset about the lightsaber than the game. Not even gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah, I mean it's probably gonna be like the super thick ones that they got at Galaxy's Edge, but still, man, and the Cal Kestis lightsaber is like probably my favorite hilt in all of Star Wars too. So
Yeah, I mean, I got it pre-ordered. Like I said, ship it when it arrives. I'm not sweating it. It'll get here when it gets here. I'm excited. It's still here this year. I'm excited they didn't push till next year. So the fact that we're getting it within a month and a half later, that's fine with me. That's my summer slow time anyway, so I'm not worried about missing a lot of work. I could sit and stream it all day, and everybody can watch me lose my mind as we die over and over and over again. I'm the most excited about the forms. The lightsaber forms is the
that
thing.
confirmed?
Yeah.
It is. So I've been speculating that since we saw the trailer. I
what
didn't
would
know
be
if it was confirmed or not.
dopest?
I'm finna go.
If he
dual
whipped out a
wielding.
hook-handled lightsaber and just went straight into Makashi.
It has been confirmed that there are different lightsaber forms in the game.
So I can-
It has, yeah, that's something that was talked about extensively in the articles talking about the gameplay.
so I can learn Vapad.
I mean, I don't know how much you're learning. I don't know how much of it we as the player are getting into it, but it's going to, because you're going to Jocasta's library, there are definitely going to be hollow cubes, and there's definitely going to be holocrons that have different Jedi masters, much like Anakin Skywalker in Rebels.
I
showing
wonder
up
if
forms.
Hold the motherfucking phone right now. What if Maul is in the game? You know how he's always looking at apprentices. As we're learning these different light side forms from the Jedi stuff, what if we get to learn from him and learn some dark side shit?
Who, Maul?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Well, like I said, I think there's absolutely going to be there's going to be holocrons, much like we saw in Rebels, where Ahsoka's talking about Anakin and he's teaching a form. I think we could potentially see that. Seer is also there, so she was also.
I bet the forms will tie to the forms will probably tie either to the weapon style you're using. So like when you have the double bladed, you'll be in that style. When you have the dual wield, you'll be in that style.
Well, and
Or
droids
it could be
versus
tied
humanoids.
to, or it could be tied to a stance. Like a lot of games
Yeah.
have a stance where like you're in more of a tank stance, or you're more of a DPS, or you're more of a
Well, but
rogue.
that was also
But it
very
would change
Jedi.
your whole
If you-
characters, like this Obi-Wan versus this Obi-Wan.
right, and that's where they're going with it. Absolutely,
That's cool.
It's like form almost. I don't know how much they're going to describe each form. I don't know if we're going to get a
Probably
cutscene
not much
of a holocron talking about. Well, I mean, Anakin does. Anakin talks about Form 3 specifically in Rebels on that holocron. He's talking about adjustments to Form 3 when fighting battle droids, right? When fighting non-humanoid opponents. So to see those conversations and cutscenes like that, and then you get that ability, because you're not remembering like in Fallen Order. You have to learn these abilities, right? So to learn an ability and then be able to do it is going to probably how the gameplay progresses, right? So you're going to get a cutscene of him learning from Seer or him learning from a holocron and then applying it with a training droid or something, right? Like we could get a potentially a form of proxy in this game because Jocasta set up this secondary training location, right? So there's a lot of room for them. That's what I'm saying. Take your time, man. If you're putting this much into the game, take your time. Get it ironed out. Make sure we as the user feel that you understood what we were after and what we would enjoy, and it's not glitchy and shitty, because what better way to end the hype than to come out with a glitchy shitty game rather than taking 6 weeks and your fandom's a little pissed off, but when it comes out they're like, this is the best game ever, right? I mean, that's the difference there. That's exactly the difference right now.
I will say
I
too,
mean, I
like
horrific these kind of games, but I'm gonna have to play that shit though, because that just sounds fun.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I might do when it comes out. I might do gift the
game out.
Gift the game.
Yeah, man.
That might be a daily thing.
Hell yeah,
That might be.
I'm down to go in with that. We should give
Might
away like
have
5-10 games each.
Go back and rebeat the fourth one again, and just sing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna do that at the end of April. The end of April. My goal is
Dathomir on Fallen Order right now.
You're on order, right? You're doing it right now.
Kick my ass.
Oh, especially the harder,
like
man.
literally
Try to
right
do
now.
that shit in Grandmaster Jedi, dude. The
Fuck
insects are so hard.
Bro, I'm on the
Oh,
easiest setting. What are you talking about?
This guy knows.
I am on the easiest setting.
No.
I have my playthrough on my channel.
And I'm still getting the shit kicked out of me.
I tried it on Grandmaster and I got to Dathomir, I think, and was like,
Dathomir is where they really start to fuck you up too.
Impossible on Grandmaster. Try fighting that big ass warm bat thing. No.
man.
Yeah, or that the big the 2-armed, I don't remember what they're called, but there's one off to the side.
Yeah.
That you can beat, and it's all by itself on this platform. And I've tried 100 times, and that thing whomps me into the ground every time.
It looks like we're going to be finding Wookiee wildebeest too in the second game, bro.
That's what I'm saying. There's so much fun
creatures
that's going to be in this second one. Take your time. It gives me more time to play the first one again, get the hype up, be able to get the finances ready to do gift the games every day we play. Right. So we're going to do these. And I'm not kidding, dude. We're going to do these long, like 6 to 8 hour sessions.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do like Ninja and Dr. Lupo and Dr. Disrespect length streams, right? Like I'm going to have to go run a couple miles before and after to make sure my body doesn't fall apart.
Now,
right. But we're going to do
curious.
some long streams.
the Survivor stream is going to be. I wonder how
And
long
they put a
we
jungle wampa in the fucking game. Who knows what else is in there?
Well, and I mean, the last gameplay took days, dude. Days and days and days. The last one, and I had to figure it out because I wasn't big on the Uncharted
Right.
gameplay, so I had to figure all that shit out from square one, which took longer. Having gone into it, having played the fourth or the previous game,
Yeah.
getting the control of
'Cause you-
the game.
Yeah, you know the fourth one came out around the same time as Fallen Order 2, so it was like, you had the open world traversal idea going on, mowing down baddies with the guns, but where Fallen Order was, it felt kind of restricted in some way. But it was also like the Guardians of the Galaxy game where the shit got more interesting as you went on.
Right.
Yeah,
And the great thing about this game versus all these other or the last game is
Yeah.
that you already know everything, right? So you already have a saber, you already have a team, you already have training, you already have your abilities. So now it's just you're already a knight at this point. You're not having to learn this stuff, which made the game slower. I feel like this game is going to jump off from much like if you want to take a trilogy, for example. This is going to be the Empire Strikes Back entrance, where we are not learning who the characters are like A New Hope. This is going to be battle sequence immediately. Square one, we could, just like the train sequence where it kind of throws you in to learn the controls. It's not going to be one of those little, Uncharted style of games. It's going to be immediate into action, immediate into combat, immediate into being chased or hunting or something in those regards. So it's not going to be as slow as Fallen Order was to begin with. So
Yeah.
I can't wait. Look, take your 6 weeks. Take your 6 weeks, polish it out, iron it out, put my dry clean suit on the hook so that when I'm ready to dance, we can dance. Because I got my shoes ready and that's it.
Real quick before we transition to Celebration, if that's what we're going to
what a-
talk about next.
What a great segue.
Right? I know, right? But Jedi Jen earlier said so kind of like the forms you can use in Ghost of Tsushima, and that's really what sparked the idea in my mind. If you guys have ever played Ghost of Tsushima, there's about 4 to 5 forms in that game that you can use, and if that's kind of the style they do in Jedi Survivor, it's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting 100% into the different forms and the different styles of combat, which is great, which is stuff I love. That's the stuff I want. And I can talk about that for days. I want to know all the forms. I want to know all that stuff. I want to be able to practice that stuff in my own home, to be honest, right? Give us nerds a exercise we can enjoy at home, right?
Bro, just give me a 5-foot long plasma laser that I can cut shit in half with.
Well, I mean that too. I mean, you got
I'll exercise all damn day.
All right, but to transition into the last topic, and I save this for the end. I save this for the back nine. So Dan's going to Celebration. Are you canceling your tickets after the drag panel, the Star Wars drag panel was announced at Celebration?
honest to God, since it was held just to get them the first go, like I got my tickets on the resale, so no, I just got them bitches.
Okay. Twitter and the Star Wars channel community is blowing the fuck up. They are losing their minds
Oh God.
because Star Wars Celebration officially today added a drag Star Wars drag in Star Wars panel. Now,
cool.
I'm not going this year. I might send an on location correspondent to Celebration, but I don't think I'm going this year. And it's in Europe, guys. It's in Europe. I mean, look, I'm gonna say it out loud. I mean, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but it's Europe, guys. It's like, I don't know. how to say this, but if you've ever watched like Euro Trip,
They give
or-
0 fucks. Just say it.
they give 0 fucks. I mean, there's drag shows all over
Absolutely
Paris. There's these kind of shows all over Europe, and there's in Germany, in France, there's these shows. In Germany, there's other kinds of places that they like, where there's like dungeons and stuff. But
Star Wars is for everybody.
but look, it's
Absolutely.
You know,
I don't personally care, right? Like,
yeah.
so a dude dresses up as Fennec Shan or a dude dresses up as Queen Amidala. It's not coming home with me. Like that like Queen Amidala in drag isn't coming home with me. I'm not going to that panel. It's not even here in the States. Like, why is everybody, you guys please explain to me, why is everybody and chat, please enlighten me. I don't know why everybody's so upset.
I don't either.
I don't think you'll see it in your chat, bro. If I'm being honest.
It's annoying, man. People
I don't
just
think you'll
rage
see
to
it here.
rage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this clickbait? Is this?
I'll say
is
the
this-
same thing that I say about the NFL when people want to boycott and burn their merch. Before you burn it, send it to me. I know a shit ton of kids I can send it to that would love to have it. So if anyone's leaving the Star Wars fandom and getting rid of all your shit, I'll give you my contact. Reach out.
Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I'm just I live.
You get
I
it,
live in-
bro. You get it.
I mean,
We
maybe
all get it.
maybe I live in a space where look, everybody knows where I live, right? Everybody knows where I'm from. I'm from the true city that never sleeps, right? This isn't that lame ass East Coast New York City, right? This is the city that truly never sleeps. This is Vegas, baby, right? And so for me, this is nothing different. To see a person in drag rolling down the boulevard,
Just another Tuesday.
it's man, that's Tuesday evening. That's right before dinner at the place, right? Like, so for me, in the world that I live now, if you're in middle of the country Oklahoma, or like you're from Tejas, right, maybe you're a little more upset. Maybe this doesn't roll up your alley, but it's not like this is a traveling tour that's coming to we're coming to your town next, Dallas, right?
Right.
No, man.
Kay brings up a great point too.
You're not even going. If you were going, I could see like, oh shit, they're coming to my town and they're bringing it here. You're not even going across the pond. Come
Kay
on.
brings up a great point too. Kay says, "How many panels does Celebration have anyway?" There's like 100 panels at Celebration.
Yeah.
Get over
If
it.
you wanted to. It's gonna be in some tiny corner of some convention center with like 100 people.
Mhm.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Let those freak flags fly. I'm sorry.
Right. There's aliens out here with triple titties. Like, what
Bro,
are you complaining about? Like, we
come
don't
on,
even
dude.
know what their anatomy is of
And
some
look,
of these.
look, I get it. Everybody wants to grab onto the clicks, right? The views mean clicks mean subs mean memberships mean dollars. I get it. That's the game, right?
Why is it always
Especially
Star
if
Wars, huh?
Especially if that's the brand you're on. This is it. I just don't see it as a negative. Right?
It's
I mean,
not,
look, I'm gonna put this shit in perspective real quick. We just watched an entire hour and a half of two bearded men making out.
I was about to bring that
And
up.
no
All
one
right?
in that fandom
We spent an hour and a half
Mm.
watching two beards that was too much beard, according to one source. And we watched that for an hour and a half, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't even know though, because I was about to say I guarantee you the same people complaining about this drag thing, this drag panel, are the same people that were complaining about The Last of Us episode 3.
But I haven't seen it.
Mhm.
That's my problem. I haven't seen not one tweet.
I definitely have.
I haven't. So I'm following the wrong people. Send me a link. Because
I'll
I
send
haven't.
it. It's
All
more
I've
in the
seen-
comment section, which is a dangerous place to go anyway.
all
But
I've seen was
Mhm.
was LGBTQ
Lot of Twitter
represented in
fingers.
this episode before I watched the episode, and then I was like, oh, okay, I can see why that article said that. But to me, I haven't seen the backlash. Not in videos.
it hasn't even been that much backlash. The main thing I've seen is a lot of people are like, "That's not how it was in the game." You're dumb because they literally hinted that he's gay in the game.
And I talked to my gaming guy, the Matt Cave, because he's our gaming, he's our resident gaming expert, who is actually, if you're into the game and you're into the show on HBO, get over to the Matt Cave. He's doing side-by-side comparisons. He did a side-by-side comparison of the Ellie meetup with Joel in The Last of Us, and he's doing side-by-side comparisons. Get over to his channel, get a like, get a subscribe over there. He's putting out sick content. But look, not every adaptation is going to be a direct adaptation from games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that already, but that's and they're over there doing that.
Oh fuck.
But that's not about Last of Us. That's about Star Wars Drag Show, right? And I'm gonna put this in the atmosphere. Wasn't there a dude in a dress dancing around Jabba's place?
I'm not gonna hold you. Didn't the whole tranny like just get introduced in the High Republic era?
I
don't believe they're. I'm not sure because I haven't dove.
So
that much
literally,
in.
if
I
you're
don't
talking
think
about the twins, the internet.
they're
jumped to that
non-binary,
shit.
I believe.
Yes.
Well,
they're fucking
so-
aliens. Aliens.
Okay, so hold on. Even saying that they're non-binary
Is
is
that
something
incorrect?
that no, it's just something that the internet did. Like the comics
Okay.
don't use the word. It's
they're
far fucking
asexual,
away,
let's
bro.
call it.
Yeah. So, but the characters share a mind between their two bodies.
Oh, that's
So we
dope.
don't know if one is female, one is male, if both are male or both are female. They never tell us. So it's very like open. But they're cool because they share a brain, literally to the point where one gets infected with spores from the villain, the main villain, and the spores mentally infect
Screw with the other
through
one.
the other person.
That's cool as shit.
That's how deep their connection is. Yeah. So it's like, the internet's gonna go with non-binary, and that's all people literally give a shit about those characters.
But I mean,
They don't
look,
go
I mean,
read the comic.
I
It's so
haven't seen a
frustrating.
lot of the backlash from Last of Us. My point is, why is it okay for one show to come out and do a completely beard on beard episode, right?
People don't think it's just here,
And-
but like,
and-
what? It's
and-
Star Wars a lot.
You
of
know
the
what's
time.
Putting Star
hilarious?
Wars in Europe, right? Like, let's be real. Europeans think Americans are prude to begin with, right? Like, let's be real.
Yes, they do.
Europeans think
Like
we're
hardcore.
prude, and that's awesome. But this is just another reason for them to think that, right? I mean, it's 2023.
Compare their commercials to ours.
Exactly, bro. Like if you watch, that's what I'm saying. Watch Euro Trip. If it's an older movie, it's one of my favorite movies. Scotty doesn't know.
Oh,
I
that movie's
sang it all the
hilarious.
time. Watched it during some bad times in life, and it always brought me back. But watch that, and it'll show you how the Europeans think we're prudes. And this is just another weapon quiver, arrow in their quiver, so to speak, on showing that we haven't evolved. On this subject.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No, yeah.
Who cares if somebody's walking down the street in heels? As long as they're not coming to your room at the end of the night, what does it matter?
A lot of the Star Wars fandom struggles to get over NPC haircuts, bro. They're not ready for this shit. They're not ready.
I mean,
for
look,
this shit.
we
You
have
know what I
friends-
find funny?
We have friends of ours that hate Holdo because her character is not great and
NPC
her hair is
haircut,
purple.
baby.
So, purple hair, and I love that guy. So I'm not giving him shit. I'm just saying we have
What
people who
character
don't like
screen
purple
did they
hair.
create her on?
Purple hair don't care, right?
I find it funny though that like you've seen the Star Wars backlash from this, and I've seen the Last Jedi stuff and haven't seen that yet. Maybe it's
Yeah,
because I was at
right.
work all day, but
Oh, dude, I fell
Oh yeah, this is
asleep.
new.
I took a
Wait till
nap.
tomorrow morning.
I took a nap, and when I took a nap today, before I took my nap, it was oh my god. Oh, here, I'll do it. Here.
Oh my god! There's a drag show panel. It's Star Wars Celebration.
I went to sleep
I'm
with
clipping that from my channel.
I went from that happy image in my dreams and woke up to 6 weeks of Survivor being delayed. So for me, my nap was not a great transition from funny to sad, but it's okay. Look, be you. That's one thing I've always promoted here on this channel. Be you. If you wanna dislike something, dislike it. If you want to like something, like it. You're not going to catch a lot of shit here in this space for that. However, I am calling fact a fact that
Hinted.
this is
Sorry.
not. This shouldn't even be a conversation.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I mean, they weren't full out
Should be.
playing tonsil hockey either, but
No,
it is.
honestly, I think Star Wars almost beats
More's
around the
the pity.
bush too much with it. Like, just show us some. Who cares? Do what Last of Us did, man. Like,
Pause.
Show me some- I mean, look, beard on beard crime. If you're gonna do it proper. They went
Yeah.
full, look, dude, they went full Monty. All right, on Last of Us. They went full beard on beard crime,
Fur
full
traders.
full zoomed in
and it was
beard
beautiful.
on beard crime, right? It wasn't like they were way out. They were like here.
like
Well,
Velcro.
For one, we just probably got like the single-handedly like the sexiest thing in Star Wars this year,
Right?
and yeah,
Cassian Andor. Ooh, wait.
and we, you know what I'm saying? So like, and what she was talking about getting, you know, showing us that if it took us this long to get some of that, you know what I mean? I don't know how long it's gonna take to get like there, you know.
Well, yeah, even I think in Rise of Skywalker, there's a scene where two girls are kissing, but I think they even cut that out in certain countries. It's like, bro,
I don't even remember.
why?
Yep.
I know
Oh yeah, it's at the end.
It's so brief. It's literally that's the other thing. That's what I'm saying though. They almost like beat around the bush. If you're gonna try to be inclusive
Well,
and do
but
that,
it's Disney also. Look, at
Yes,
the end of the day,
true.
it is still Disney,
which
Yeah.
right?
it's
And
exactly, and that's why I think it's awesome that they're doing this panel, man. Like,
And I
Star
think you're
Wars
gonna
is for
see
everyone.
Yeah, and I think this can lead to more mature Star Wars.
God, I
Not
hope
for
so.
nothing. Not for nothing. This panel is not for everyone's child per se, but
oh,
it
absolutely.
is breaking into like this
Yeah, no.
progressive, like we can get rated R Star Wars. We can get some more like mature shit on Disney Plus. Like,
Yeah, I would
Well,
I
love
don't know.
if I would love if what's that show this I can't remember the name now. The one they're working on with the kids. Can't remember what its name.
Oh,
Skeleton
Come on,
Crew
Should
man.
have one more
Skeleton
X
Crew.
in Bix's name.
Skeleton Crew.
Honestly.
Is there three? Oh yeah, and there should be three X's in Bix's name. But even with that, I hope Skeleton Crew goes kind of R-rated with certain stuffs. You know, like more of a horror vibe. I would love that.
Look, I honestly think that it would not be a bad idea to do Tales of the Sith and show the Plagueis death scene. Right? I mean, you'll cut Mandalorian, in Mando, you'll cut people in half. You'll chop heads off. But so I think why not get into the Sith, get a little darker, especially with Acolyte coming. So I mean, that's, you know,
I think it would be a good idea for them to go darker, but look at all the freak out when DC tried to go darker.
yeah, but I
All
don't
of
think,
Zack
I mean,
Snyder's fun.
They went.
He has his loyalists, but a lot of people were pissed.
DC doesn't.
They like their
can't even-
superheroes to be
DC's
hopeful.
already dark. I don't.
I mean, look, I can't really.
There's different shades of dark. You got the Nolan trilogy. You got the Reeves Batman.
Well,
you
yeah,
got-
but then you got Joker and different things too. It's like they can get real dark if they want to with DC.
Hold on. I
Comics are
wasn't
dark,
saying
bro.
that was dark as in that was bad dark.
No, I didn't think you were. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I think it's. I always thought of the DC universe as a dark place. That's
Yeah.
like,
And
freaking
they-
Bruce Wayne's out here. His family gets killed right in the beginning of his story. Like, it don't get much darker than that.
And we're just did you see the slate drop today? Oh my god.
I didn't see the whole thing, but I'm excited for it.
Good shit. Very good shit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's still
I saw
confusing in
that.
some
Hype.
areas,
Hype.
but I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
good time to
that's
be a Star
because
Wars
he
fan. Look,
only
that's-
gave us like names of things. He didn't actually give out information.
Yeah.
Like, here's what we're doing, but I'm not going to tell you anything about any of it. Here's your
Dude,
names.
I mean, listen,
Do
they
your
were
research
like
on your
live
own.
action. They were like live action this, animation that. That's all I
Star-
needed to know.
Star Wars and Marvel do that every year.
well,
Yeah.
look,
Every-
DC
Every year? Wait, when's the last time Star Wars?
DC
did
has
that?
their own
Every other year.
problems, though, right? Like, let's be real. DC isn't, unfortunately, DC and Marvel. Well, DC in particular is having a real hard time competing with Marvel and Star Wars in general because they're having leadership problems. They're having continuity issues. It's a
It's
different.
over now.
It's a different gambit. It's a
We're a Star Wars channel, or we're a
they got
DC channel
their
now.
they got their fearless leader attacking
You think-
YouTubers that are in their mom's basements. I mean,
Oh
look,
no!
they
Fourth
got
floor, baby.
Oh no!
they got their own problems, right?
Joshi,
All right.
Joshi.
DC's got their own problems when they're the head of their story division is attacking YouTubers and poking fights on Twitter. They have bigger problems. You don't see KK coming out and tweeting about EBN or about these other
Disney
streams
told her
are
to
trash
shut
now,
up.
right? They exactly DC has their own problems. My
Flat
point
out said,
being,
stop saying things.
content wise, they have their own issues. Star Wars and Marvel
Oh my God, yes.
also have their own issues, and one of Star Wars' biggest issues is, their fans are just a different breed.
Man,
That's
what?
all I
That's
can say.
nicely.
That's all I can
What,
say.
Star
I'm
Wars
not.
fans? Yeah.
Yes. Like I
What a
said,
hoot.
DC's got their own problems. Marvel's got
It's not all of us, though, man. Like,
no, but
there
it is.
there is
But
a
it is.
section
Oh,
of
it's
the
not
fan.
all of us.
No,
but-
no, it's all of us. Look,
Star
look,
Wars fans who put channels like this, they don't do your justice obsession. There are very good people but it gets clouded
Right,
because
but
of
at the
shit
same
like
time, look,
that.
for every story you tell me, I could, for every fact that we say on the positive side, to them I'm toxic, right? I'm toxically positive,
Positive toxic, yeah.
right? I don't know how this became a real word,
Remember
That's
when
literally
oxymoron
doesn't
was a
make sense.
goddamn
but
thing?
I'm toxically positive, right? Apparently, because I won't really shit on anything or anybody for anything they do, right? I'm on this space. I'm a lit and let live kind of person, but I'm toxic in their eyes. So the fandom is toxic everywhere, right? We're all part of the wheel. We may not be spewing the hate, but to them, on the other side of what the other people throwing stones, look at us as the toxic ones, right? And that's okay.
It doesn't even make sense, though, my guy.
That's okay.
How can
I
you be positive and be a
Hey.
toxic? That
Bro.
doesn't make sense.
bro.
Oh
It's
shit!
projecting.
You done got
It's
'em
all
started.
projecting.
But again, regardless of what or
Yeah.
why,
Well, see, here's the
I
thing, though.
I will not
Remember-
subject my viewers and my community to it, right?
Okay,
I'm more
the
than welcome-
definition of toxic: poisonous or very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive and insidious way. How is being positive toxic? That doesn't make sense.
Well, haven't you ever met that morning person that you want to slap the shit out of because they're
That's
just
me.
like super perky at like 4:30 in the fucking morning?
That's me.
That's toxic positivity.
That's
No,
me also.
You're the toxic one for wanting to slap him.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy that brings donuts at 5:30 in the morning going, "Hi guys, everybody who's excited."
The
Because
guy brought you coffee and you're upset at it.
You
But look,
are
look,
Oh my
it-
God.
this is also what
What
I'm
is
talking
wrong
about,
with you people?
right? Like there's
Ugh.
a level of everybody's got a different perspective, right? And
Yeah.
I invite the opposing view, right? I
Sure.
enjoy the spirit of debate, but I don't enjoy
Oh,
the
it's a
spirit of hate, right? That's the difference, right? I enjoy debate, let's talk about it, but I don't enjoy the spirit of hate. And there's, last week we saw a lot of that. It seems like this week there's another wave of it coming with the drag show at Celebration. We just got done last week having a hate mongering week in the space. So
What other panels got announced? Because I find it ironic that
right.
there's probably some really dope panel
Well-
in there somewhere, like in the lineup.
The
But these
history of
channels
Star Wars
all hate,
toys, or
but these channels that hate this stuff all found that
Well,
one
the
panel.
initial announcement came
talk
from
about.
Twitter. The
You guys got
initial
nothing
announcement
else
came
to
from
talk
Twitter
about.
that panel got added.
Right.
It wasn't actually, I don't think, released
I mean,
by
this
Slow
is
news
how
day.
Wars
toxic
themselves. It was
positive I
announced by the
am.
person
Slow
that's
news
doing the
day.
panel.
When we got into the discussion about celebration, I thought it was going to be about the fact that Hayden's going to be there. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, that's how toxic positive I am.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the panels are going to be great. Katie Sackhoff is going. Hayden's going. I mean, I'm sure Ewan would love to get back to the Sea Otters. So I'm sure Ewan will probably make an appearance over there. I'd love him and Anakin to go visit the Sea Otters. But ultimately, you know, the panels are going to be great.
Off my dark.
Just like they were last year. They're going to release some stuff. They're going to release some stuff like they always do at Celebration, and it's going to be a great time. I'm sure Star Wars Meg is going to be doing a lot over there because that's her stomping ground. I know Dan's going to be over there doing some stuff. I've been talking and hinting to a correspondent heading over there for us to cover it live from the floor. So yeah, dude, there's Celebration's going to be fun this year, and with the year we're having, right? I mean, Bad Batch, Mando, Ahsoka, Fallen Order sequel, right? That's a good platform to jump into, right? Like that's a good vibe to jump right into because they're going to be right in the middle of Mandalorian. The hype is going to be hardcore everywhere. So Dan, you got to have your shit together if you're going to go walking the floor.
Comb your beard.
Look
Gotta have
here.
your shit together. Dude, I went last year and it was a monster.
It is definitely chaotic, especially if it's your first time. And anybody
Bro.
watching, if you're going, do your research and prepare.
Prepare.
I'm looking forward to the chaos, bro. Like
Oh.
If I ever
I
go to Celebration,
am
it'll be domestic.
definitely not going alone. There is a subsect of the Star Wars group that I'm sure you guys know that are going as well. That's the group I'm a part of, and I also have a contact out there who's going to be showing me around and giving me the detour on the TLDR and all that good stuff on what I should and shouldn't, the place I need to go to, whatnot.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good time, regardless of who's there and what panels are going on. I mean, if you really are upset about the panel and you're going to be there, just go to another panel.
Yeah,
there's lots of them. Go shopping on the floor. At least you'll know all the drag queens will be in one place. So like you'll feel safe, and you can post on Facebook, "Safe from Star Wars drag queens." I mean, use that time to go do something.
Don't
different.
encourage them, please. Don't encourage them.
I'm just trying to give them something to do, man, while they're in their panel. But yeah, I mean, look, it's unfortunate that there are tweets and Twitters and so much negativity floating around about this topic, right? About this specific thing that shouldn't even be a thing. And I don't get the hate for it. I don't get I don't get it. It's not like they're rolling into your town, right? They're not coming to Nashville. They're not coming to Fort Worth, right? They're not coming to Oklahoma City, right? Like they're not coming to Kentucky. You guys can unpucker. They're going to London.
Florida.
There's a whole butt fuck ton of ocean water between your house and Star Wars Celebration this year. Okay, so
And like 4 time zones.
pull the wedgie out and
no, I didn't even think about the time zones. That's
stack up and
Maybe
just
shopping.
realize that they're going to be live while you're asleep,
yeah, that's
right? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
Let
it's
it
like
go.
5
Let
to
it.
3 there
You know,
right
my
now, I
girlfriend
think.
would get so mad. Let it go. Let it go. Won't hold you back anymore, right? Just let it go, baby. Ain't no reason. Ain't no reason.
there's so many other panels to be excited about too.
Dude,
whether it's Ahsoka panel, there's gonna be a Survivor panel now.
You and I went, bro. How many panels
Yeah.
were there? How much shit was there to
You know,
do?
the people
Too
that
much.
are not fond of the drag panel are also not going to be fond of the Ahsoka panel. They're
I
going to
mean,
avoid that one too.
Well, yeah, because they're the real toxic fans.
Well, but I mean, look, I mean, how many panels were there? They're going to be in London. There's a volume in London where they're shooting these shows. So they're going to do like we went to the Mandalorian experience, right? Where we saw all the props and stuff that they had from the show in a big convention area where we could go and take pictures and interact, and it was awesome. If you don't think they're going to have those kind of experiences at Celebration in London from some of the shows they're shooting on the volume and the set stage in London, dude, you guys are going to have so much to worry about that. Honestly, you're going to it's probably going to be one hour panel.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's
Guaranteed.
very few panels that were repeated day after day after day.
There's too much going on.
There's too much. So there's probably going to be one hour panel. Who gives a shit?
Might get some acolyte shit out of that since that's filming over there. That would be cool.
Exactly, dude. There's going to be
That's
so
kinda
much cool
acolyte
shit to go look at. Who gives a shit, man? Look, I'm gonna throw something out here at the end. The Hutts were LGBTQ. Okay, the Hutts, Jabba, all those Hutts, they changed sex on their own.
Bro,
But say, didn't
listen,
Jabba
we don't
have-
know if brother sister was off limits. Like,
Right? We don't know. We don't know what the
twins-
Hutts
the
are doing.
twins
Are
are
they
pretty
even
close.
brother and sister? Maybe they're
Right.
sister and sister.
If anything, they had some Jamie Lannister type shit going on.
But my
But
point being is like the
I think they got so
Hutt that
ugly.
the Hut that Jabba took over the Empire from, right, was a Hut that was male that then went and changed its sex spontaneously to female. So like it's a thing in Star Wars too, guys. Like this is
I used to
Wait a
think
minute,
Darkula
so-
was a girl.
so
I
did
think.
Jabba like
Oh, what was that?
actually get down, or did he change sex to have his son Rada?
That's a great question.
That
there's a
Legends
great
novel.
question.
The Cestus deception.
Was Stinky his
Those
like his, or was
Insect
it like
people did that shit too in that book?
Yeah.
did they like get down, or did he just like
Well, he had to have somehow.
have a
And-
baby? Like we don't know.
They
We don't
came
know.
at each other
Well,
backwards like
Sheev,
snakes.
when two people. No, I'm just kidding.
In my head canon, Jabba was playing hide the force until
Right. Okay. So my point being is that it doesn't matter because if I'm not mistaken, it was Durga or Durga the Hutt or one of
Yes.
it was definitely that style of name was the leader of the Hutts before Jabba took over. But then he transitioned into a she and lost the ability to rule. And so Jabba took over. So look, this has been in Star Wars for a long time. Let's not get
Just
upset
blowing
that
my mind right now.
let's just stop
That's
being
in the Han
upset.
Solo
too.
trilogy, right?
I think it was a solo
Trillion
trilogy.
Destiny.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I think it was a solo trilogy. I was worried about I was gonna get the
Don't you
name wrong.
remember the?
My phonetics are trash.
I'm pretty sure it is Durga, and like there's also those insect people in the Cestus deception too.
It's dude,
Yeah,
look,
Legends
it's been in the
novel
lore for a long
with
time. A
Obi-Wan
lot of
and
you
Obi-Wan.
love this Legends EU stuff. A lot of you get down on this and hold that as close to your heart as anybody else. You've read it, you've seen it, it's been around for a long time. This is not something new. It's just a trigger. Stop getting rogered. Stop letting the little things get you spun up. Okay, you can go to bed knowing that it's across the pond and you don't have to involve yourself in it and it's not coming to your city. So I think that's the end of it. I think let's just hope that the negativity doesn't stay out there too long and that this just is a news cycle and that something else will show up eventually. But yeah, it doesn't really upset me. Doesn't seem like it really upsets the rest of you. Dan's the only one that's I hope you go to the panel and stream it for us. I might send a correspondent to sneak a camera in.
about to say you'll be sending that correspondent in because Dan ain't going nowhere
yeah.
near that goddamn.
No, I might have to send my correspondent in there, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe do some interviews after. But because no one else is going to cover
May
it.
all the people freaking out about that have dreams of me in the Leia bikini.
Hey, there you go. I love it. There, you know what? Just for that, you deserve a
They
round
can
of
have
applause.
Dreams of my fat, doughy, hairy ass in the Leia bikini from Jedi. Enjoy that shit.
boy.
That's awesome. All right, kids, we're gonna
Yeah,
wrap
great.
this up. We've been at it for 2 hours. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate
Hell
you
yeah.
guys for jumping in. Dan, chilling in the basement. You guys make sure to get over there and subscribe to everybody. And if you haven't already, get down there, like and subscribe. It helps the channel and all that fun stuff. But as always, don't forget, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered, and may always the force be with you. Everybody, take care. Thank you guys, and good night.